Watch this video or you will regret it. Sometimes we automatically answer, "I'm fine," not because we're really fine, but because we don't know what else to say. Over the years, the pain, the disappointment, the loneliness gradually become familiar. So familiar that we no longer realize that we have learned to live with the wounds instead of healing them. So today, let's stop for a moment to ask ourselves, are you fine or are you just used to the pain? When pain becomes a part of life, there are pains that no longer make us cry, but they linger in our hearts like a persistent headache. When we are young, sadness is often intense. It could be an argument, a broken relationship, or an unfulfilled dream. But as we get older, sadness seems to grow. It is not loud, not dramatic, but quietly gnaws at our hearts. People often say, time heals everything. But for many people, time does not heal. It just makes us learn to live with that wound. One day, then 2 days, then years, you gradually forget what it feels like to be relieved. You still do everything. Do the laundry, cook, take care of the grandchildren. But there is always a void in your heart. No one knows. No one asks. That void does not come from a specific event, but from the repetition of the same days. No one calls to ask how you're doing. No one notices the sad look you give out the window. You say, "I'm used to it," but really you're just trying to endure. And the scariest thing is, you don't know how long you've been living like this. Silence is not peace. There is a kind of silence that is not gentle. The silence when no one asks what you are thinking, no one listens to your stories. When we are young, we are used to noise, laughter, arguments, late-night conversations. But at some point, you begin to realize the days go by with only the familiar sounds of fans, clocks, and the sound of a TV that no one watches. Old people are often accused of talking too much, of repeating old stories. But does anyone really understand that it is their way of trying to hold on to a part of their memories? Their way of connecting with this life, even if it is only with broken pieces of the past. When no one is willing to listen, they choose silence. And then, that silence grows like a wall separating them from the rest of the world. Have you ever sat in a room wanting to say something, but stopped because you know that no one cares? That feeling is not peace, but abandonment wrapped in a familiar shell. No one scolds you, no one hurts you, but no one loves you enough to care. And in that long silence, people gradually lose themselves. Not because they are old, but because they are forgotten. The forced smile and the strong mask. We often praise the strength of the elderly. They are resilient. They are used to pain. They don't need much anymore. But have you ever wondered if that strength is really strength? Or is it just a mask they are forced to wear for fear of becoming a burden? The elderly often say, "I'm fine. It's okay. It's just a small matter." They say that when the pain is constant and never stops, when their children are busy all week and don't call them even once, when they sit quietly at a meal and chew each spoonful. Their smile is still there, but it is no longer a smile of happiness. It is a smile to hide the loneliness and hurt that no one sees. Someone once compared the elderly to children who know how to hide their tears. They are experienced. They know that if they complain, they will be considered weak or difficult. So they stay silent. They stay strong, to the point that they forget that they ever needed a hug, a handshake, a sincere greeting. That strong mask is not glory. It is the price of being left behind. And then people start to get confused. They think you're okay. But are you really okay? You don't have to suffer alone. Pain, whether physical or emotional, is not something to be endured alone. Sadly, many older adults choose to remain silent, thinking that they should accept it, that you're old, no one cares, or worse, it won't change anything if you speak up. This thought quietly takes root in their minds, causing them to withdraw further and further. But the truth is, you don't have to be so strong that you remove yourself from other people's lives. There are people around you who are willing to listen. Sometimes you just need to open up a little. It could be a kind neighbor, a health worker, a friend your own age, or even children who still remember their grandparents' words. The world may be in a hurry, but it's not completely cold. It's just that we've become so used to living in fear of rejection that we don't dare to try anymore. And most importantly, you have the right to seek new joys. Take a small class, go for a walk in the park, try writing in a journal, call someone you miss. Little things like that can be enough to soothe a soul that has suffered for too long. You don't have to be okay to be loved. You just have to be yourself, a person who is experienced, valuable, and worthy of attention. Learn to listen to yourself. At some point in life, we suddenly realize that we have quietly gone through many years without ever really listening to ourselves. The pain, the loneliness, the sleepless nights, we wrap them up, put them in a hidden corner of our hearts and tell ourselves that it's okay. But the more we hide them, the more we forget that our hearts also need to be soothed, need to be spoken out and understood. At this age, what we need is not to live to please others, but to live in a way that makes our hearts peaceful. Try to take a little time every day to sit still, breathe, and write down the emotions that are stored inside. Don't be afraid if there are times when we cry, because tears are not weakness. It is the way the heart heals itself. Don't be afraid to seek help. A good listener, a therapist, or even just a phone call to a loved one. These little things can help us untangle layers of sadness. Listening to ourselves is a gift. It helps us realize we are still alive, still have feelings, and still have the opportunity to change. When we start listening, we stop running away. We choose to stay with ourselves more honestly and gently than ever before. Sometimes we keep going because we are used to the pain, not because we are really okay. But believe me, old age does not mean the end, but a new journey, where you have the right to be happy, to be loved, and to be heard. If you feel lonely today, remember that there are people who are still willing to accompany you. Just give them a chance. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to spread this positive message to more people.